Ashley, we need your help. We know you are the queen of debates and you can very much hold your own. Amen. We have some comments to read out and we need your help responding.
Ooh, love this.
I know, Hannah, you like to do this yourself.
All the time. If anyone sends me any negativity, it's usually a middle-aged man with a bald head, and I guarantee will have a small winky
and a
at
fish.
home. Yeah. Typing away, and then they'll say stuff like, you shouldn't have had kids then.
Well, funny you should say that, because we've the first two comments here are from a man.
Really?
Here we go. I don't get women sleeping in a separate room or bed to help a kid sleep. If you don't sleep in the same bed as your husband, that's a roommate.
Why does he care about your sleeping arrangements?
Yeah.
It's wild, isn't it?
Because also, I don't sleep in the same bed as Tommy, but because, like, what's the point in us both being exhausted? Like, Ada still gets up in the night and comes into my room. And to be fair, I actually don't mind it because she goes straight back to sleep and I enjoy the cuddles. But I wouldn't like that wedge between me and Tommy. But then also, he would then feel like he was up as well. And it's like, well, one of us may as well sleep. But also, it's a bit weird. Like, well, I just find the like fascination with where people sleep so weird. The other reason I like sleeping by myself is because I like to starfish, and I'm an adult, and I don't think that a relationship should be a prison sentence for like having to share a space. Like Tommy does this really annoying thing where he puts the duvet down around his waist and then like locks it.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm a weirdo that sleeps with a duvet over my head.
I'm exactly the same. And actually, when my daughter wants to sleep with me, she likes to have the duvet down and I like it up. And because we're so close to each other, it's like we're like this all night.
I slept last night with literally like a steering wheel up my ass because my son's got a camper van, bunk beds. And so my husband's got man flu. And I was like, I'm not sleeping in the bed with my husband while he's snoring, night farting and coughing. So I thought, you know what, I'll just go into the bunk bed. So I woke up this morning and I'd like curled up like in the fetal position, but the steering wheel of this like wooden steering wheel of the camper van was literally on my arse. And I was like, oh my God, this is so uncomfortable. But actually I was like, I felt like I just had my own space.
You have a really good sleep.
I did. I do. It was really good, Ashley.
There's nothing better than having a good sleep. So this guy can sod off. Okay, we sleep in separate rooms because we need the sleep.
But how does that affect your sex life though? If you're in that is a thing that if it's like a guaranteed separate beds.
Who's having sex every night in bed with kids?
Well, there is exactly.
I know someone who is.
Do you know what I feel like affects our sex life is having to tell someone to pick up their own clothing from the floor.
Yeah, there is nothing more unattractive.
So
this is what we establish from the guests that come on the podcast. It's like most women now are normalising bed hopping with kids because it happens. We have to do it. And most women that come on will say that they have to like schedule like sex. It's not just like you say,
but also,
having it with kids around, or they might come into the room.
You could be a bit imaginative. I feel like people don't need like to be in the same bed. They could just like go to bed together and then go into another room. I find like it's so weird. Like, why are people so fascinated by like your sex life when I feel like even my friends who share beds, they're not having any more or any less sex really, like because you're not waking up slow in bed like pre-kids. Like you're,
oh God.
I don't know. I'm like, why do you care?
I've done a poo-poo. You're like, oh my God, right, let's just ruin the moment.
And that was your husband.
Right, are you ready for this one? Jesus, you shouldn't be having kids after the age of 35. You're too old at that point and it puts you and the baby at risk.
Well, that's clearly incorrect. I've had children over 35 and they're thriving.
Well, the average age, isn't it, in London is like 40 for having your first baby.
Yeah.
It's like times have changed. Like, you know, women going to university, further education, apprenticeships, or setting up businesses, being self-employed. It's like building that your future takes time. So no longer having kids at a younger age necessarily, but what does it make any difference?
And also note that the blame is always on the woman. I know loads of people that would have loved to have had kids younger and they can't find an emotionally available, mateable man. And a lot of them, like one of my friends now is in her 40s, she spent a fortune on IVF, and people are like, oh, you should have started sooner. With who? Because then if she picked the wrong guy, people would have blamed her for making the wrong choice. At some point, we need to appreciate that it's not all down to, like, we can't just click our fingers and be impregnated. Like, you have no idea about people who want kids and are in a relationship where they could have kids. You've got no idea about their fertility journey. we can't afford to have kids in today's society when you're paying like when I had both my kids in a nursery in London, which isn't a fancy nursery, like nearly $4,000 a month. Like tell me someone in their early 20s, late 20s, I mean, even any age that can afford that. So a lot of the reasons people aren't having kids young is because of like societal systemic reasons. And then now that the birth rate is declining so much because people are either being like, do you know what? Doesn't seem that appealing, or I do want to focus on all of these other things.
My eyes are still watering from how
straight.
much you paid for nursery fees.
Honestly, it's just...
That's wild.
It's
Yeah.
wild. Right, next one. It really doesn't take that long to shave your legs. Women stop looking after themselves after having kids and then wonder why their sex life falls apart.
I didn't shave my legs before I had kids, to be honest.
I shave my legs when my legs are exposed, pretty much. I mean, like in the summer.
Also, I'll shave my legs if a man shaves his legs.
I used to just shave like the bottom section of my leg.
Yeah, I'd like to say to men, if you don't like leg hair, don't grow it.
Amen.
Love.
I feel like I need to hang out with you all day, every day.
I know. Well, it's just having that like, having that approach where you go, no, that isn't acceptable.
When I was pregnant with Inca and nobody knew in the first like trimester, I was still modelling, and I had to like cover the bump. And I remember doing a TV commercial in Cape Town, and it was like a 20-hour day and no one knew. And had I told them, they would have been like, you can't do this.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
And then I went to Morocco, and by that point, the client knew, and you could see my bump. And so every single photograph was taken from the front rather than any angles. And it was really nice to know that, Inca was there with me. And then, I don't know if you know this actually, and I've never spoken about this on the podcast before, but because I went on maternity leave at 17 weeks pregnant, because I was showing with my third, I announced it on Instagram saying officially on maternity leave. And did you know, fun fact for you, that majority of pregnant models aren't pregnant. It's a fake bump.
Yeah.
And the uproar was unbelievable.
I would presume you would be inundated with work being heavily pregnant.
I didn't get any work as a pregnant model.
What?
None.
Which is just
because they use models that aren't pregnant. They put on this prosthetic bump to make the clothes look perfect.
But why are they not putting cellulite on them? Yeah. And like baggy bits. Because that's
swelling,
what you
swollen everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I did was I started a campaign called Push It Out. And I was asking brands to have more honesty in maternity advertising and saying, if you're going to use a fake pregnant bump, state it on your website. This girl is not pregnant. Do not compare yourself to her. And they did.
Because we're so used to just like bumbling along with how we think we should be perceived, and then being so paranoid as women, getting paranoid as mothers, paranoid as partners, wives, and like, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? As if we're always doing stuff wrong, but actually we're not doing stuff wrong.
I remember being a teenage girl and like looking down, and I had like one bit of hair in my tummy, and I was like, oh, people are going to think I'm disgusting. Yeah. And like, meanwhile, I'm pretty sure like teenage boys aren't even wiping their bums. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have so much pressure on us.
Oh, yeah.
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 To look a certain way, it's crazy. If you pander to your picky child's eating habits, you'll only make things worse. There should be one dinner for everyone, and if they don't eat it, they'll go hungry.
Screw their milk allergy.
Oh, God. I'm like cereal for Annabelle for dinner the other night. She wouldn't eat the spag bol. She wouldn't eat anything that she normally likes. She wouldn't eat it. And I was like, I'm not putting her to bed hungry, because she will wake up in the night hungry, and it'll be me that gets up.
Yeah.
So I was like,
that comment from my mum, by the way? Does it say?
It was my mum, actually.
Because last night I made chicken and like a few random bits, but anyway, Alf was like adamant he didn't want it. He's like slightly got slight sensory issues, but I do know that he has had chicken before and he has liked it. And so at first, especially probably because my mum was there, I was like, no, that's your food, just eat it. And Ada ate hers, and so she got, what was it that she got? Anyway, some form of like chocolate. I don't know, not an everyday thing. But I was like, you've eaten your dinner, so you can have it. And then Alf was like, but I want it. And I was like, no, you really need to eat something. Just try it. Just try it. And he just wouldn't. And then I had pasta in the fridge, and he was going, but I want pasta. So I was like, fine. And then my mum was like, oh, you're pandering to him. And I was like, but I sometimes don't want to eat certain food. I feel like we expect our children to be these little like regulated and controlled. And I get it. Like, discipline is sometimes important, but I also think like picking your battles is like, they have so many new things to learn and experience. And if I've got pasta in the fridge, why can't I just give it to
And
him?
if
And
the
he's 88 and he went,
happy.
That whole narrative, like, oh, you're pandering to him. It's like, no, I'm feeding him, surely.
why do we care with things like this what other people are doing? Because
Yeah.
as long as they're like
Yeah.
happy and healthy and safe, like
Yeah.
if you are like, if you know your child. But I actually remember going to war with my mum once because she was like, you will not get down from the table until you eat your peas. And I remember thinking, bring it on. And I must have been really young, but I remember thinking, I will sit here until I'm 72. I will not
Oh my
eat.
God.
I will not eat the peas. And I won. Of course I did, because I just sat there and stared at her, and obviously she got fed off of me. So she's like, go away. So I was like, you win. And then I've learned, like, well, I can my patience is better than her patience. And so it's like, why would you create a battle over something?
I actually think this is why I'm vegetarian and have been vegetarian since I was a child, because my dad, I have such a memory of my dad. One of my earliest memories would sit me down at the dinner table and he would give me this meat, and I didn't really like the look of it, and I wouldn't eat it. And I remember him saying to me, you'll have it, you'll eat it, and you'll like it. So I think my mum was a bit more like, I want you to eat, so I'll just make you something else. And I pretty much have never eaten meat since.
I also feel like you can have boundaries and still be like, just pick your battles. Do you know what I mean? And like, as long as, like, I'll only be strict if it's to do with safety or manners.
But when it comes to food, like you say, I bet he ate the pasta last night. He was happy. You were happy. The situation was diffused. And what does it matter? What point are you proving to be like, right, you are not having a pudding. You are, if you don't eat that dinner, and then you're going to sit there and battle it out. And he might take the approach you did when you were younger, and you go to bed off.
He did say to me, I like the school chicken, not your chicken. And I was like, wow,
God,
I'm
I've had that a long
offended.
time.
Don't do that.
I am offended.
That's a few times I used to put breast milk in Andy's coffee.
Did you know?
Did you do that?
No, I never did.
You didn't get... Well, my mother-in-law used to drink my breast milk.
I drank my friend's breast milk.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that sounds a bit weird. I mean, not like, you know. Right, on to the last one. This is a comment which we actually think this guy means well, but it's worth our feedback and see how we would respond. So, my wife and I are having chats about the mental load on a monthly basis now. I ask if she is okay and there's nothing more I can do to support. And the answer is always, no, I'm not okay, but there's nothing more you can do as it's just mum stuff. What ends up happening is I feel responsible for not doing enough, and I feel like I contribute directly to her unhappiness, but don't want to tell her, as I think it'll just add more to her mental load.
I think if you're having to have chats every month about the load, even if your intention is good, stop asking about the load and just do some of the stuff she's seen. And like, what is mum stuff?
Yeah.
Like, mum stuff is dad stuff. Like, unless you are breastfeeding, which obviously you cannot do, there's very little that is mutually for mothers. So in my book, I wrote the list of the whole mental load, but also you could do it as well. Because Tommy, this is another thing that Tommy and I argue about. Just tell me what to do. If you're stressed about the shopping, write me a list and I'll do the shopping. And it's like, but also if I just had the shopping, I wouldn't be stressed about the shopping. It's the shopping and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I shouldn't need to tell you because I'm not the project manager, and being a project manager is still part of the mental load. So if you're saying with the best intentions, we bring this up every month, well, do some more stuff. Like, are you watching her like do the washing? Are you watching her like clean up? Do you know that she's on top of all the school emails? Like, just do some of it. And also, like, you could say, if you really want to be helpful, maybe be like, by the way, it doesn't have to be just mum stuff. Like, it can be dad stuff. Like, dads can parent. Who knew? Like, so take some, like, don't just keep bringing it up if you can see she's not okay. But also have a, like, productive conversation with her where you're like, you know how you think of it as mum stuff? Like, I would actually like to, like, see it as parenting stuff.
It totally is. You're absolutely right. Have you heard of the expression chore play? Where... it happened the other day. I came home from somewhere and Jesse had just done so much housework and cooking, and the kitchen was blitzed without me asking him to do it and without him wanting a medal for doing it. And I was so turned on.
See, for me, that just means the bar is so far in hell.
Well, yeah.
We are turned on by men doing their bit around the house.
I know, but I was
like, no,
I was.
I would. But I'm glad.
I would faint if I came home.
Yeah,
and my
I was
husband had
very,
I'm glad
very
chore play works
impressed.
for you.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, what is the one thing you wish you knew before becoming a mum?
I think probably that mums aren't negative. I think that was always my thing, that I'd shut down any form of struggle. And whether that's like births, when I'm like, you only hear negative births, don't you think more people would love to have positive ones? But also like maybe lots of mums are struggling because the mental load and the weight and of the expectations are still all on them. So I think it's, just to have a bit more empathy for mums.
Okay, so Bimbo by Ashley James is out now. Pick it up, give it to the woman in your life. Would a man should read this too, or?
Do you know what? A few men have read it and they've all said that they find it really interesting. Yeah. And there's a chapter in there about like raising men. Thanks. There's a chapter in there about like raising men, and hopefully it allows people to be better girl dads, be better partners, be better humans on this planet with women.
Amen.
Yeah, and just being aware from a guy's perspective on some of the vocabulary that you're using, trying to educate the next generation and think before they speak.
Well, also, do you know that women very often listen to men, but men often don't listen to women? And I mean that in terms of like podcasts, audiobooks, like...
Our husbands haven't listened to this podcast, have they?
Which is probably a good thing, because
we flag them off all the time. Maybe that's why they haven't listened to it. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, Ashley James, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Ashley James,
good luck with the book. Thank you.
Woo! If you've enjoyed this chat as much as we did, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps other parents find us. Also, drop a comment below and let us know your favourite takeaway from today. We'll see you next week. Bye.